Okay, take 3. Riley Miller Cross.
Okay, last one. Oh my goodness. Mr. Miller, would you consider yourself a safe driver? Someone who follows laws and regulations?
Yeah, I think I'm a pretty good driver. I'm a new driver though.
However, you're known to text and drive from your friends. Isn't that right?
Some of my friends may say so.
And that early morning, you had gotten a text message from Taylor after getting out of the driveway, correct?
Yeah, she seemed pretty frenetic that morning.
So you had started the car, right?
Yeah, we were rolling out of the driveway we were going really slow. I checked both ways before we were going, so.
But you were driving, correct?
Yeah.
And wouldn't you say that it's always important to keep your attention focused on the road while driving?
Of course.
But you looked down and read Taylor's message, correct?
I glanced down for like a second, not too long.
But you still had glanced down?
Yeah, just for like a second.
And taken your eyes off the road in the process?
For like less than a second, and we were still in like a residential neighborhood. I checked both ways.
But you had still looked down at your phone while driving?
Yeah.
Meaning, and you had also pressed the reply button, isn't that right?
No, Dakota did that.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Miller, I would like you to, yes. Oh, yes. Mr. Miller, do you recognize this piece of this document?
Yeah, I think I gave this testimony to the court.
And is this your signature written?
Yes, that is my beautiful signature.
Okay. Let the record reflect that this is Riley Miller's affidavit. Okay, Mr. Miller, would you read silently as I read aloud? So, on line 45, so I hit reply and tossed the phone to Dakota. So, Mr. Miller, you did indeed hit the reply button.
Yeah, sorry. It's been a couple months since the incident, so yeah, I did.
So you had your phone in your hand while you were driving?
And the other hand was in the wheel as well.
But is it legal to use your phone while driving, Mr. Miller?
I suppose not.
Is it legal?
I suppose not.
You suppose not?
I don't think it is.
You don't know if it's legal?
No, it isn't.
And after hitting reply, you took time and movement to toss that phone over to Dakota. Isn't that right?
Probably less than a second. Like, she was like 6 inches away. She's not like she was like in the back seat or something.
However, you still looked over at her to make sure that she had grabbed the phone.
I glanced over, I think. Probably less than a second again. Still in the residential neighborhood.
Still having turned your attention away from the road to see that she had tossed the phone.
Like less than a second.
And right after all of that, that's when you lost control of the car, correct?
It was a little bit after that because we had to get out of the neighborhood and then get on Fisk Avenue and then get on that main road. And then that's when I saw the flashing lights.
But it was right after you had given the phone to Dakota, correct?
I think so, chronologically. Yeah.
Right after?
Yeah.
And, however, you did see the flashing yellow lights of the tow truck.
Yeah.
And you are aware of what Scott's Law is, correct?
Yeah, you gotta move over for cars when there's like an emergency vehicle attending to them.
And what was the speed limit of Waveland that night?
I think it's 35 miles per hour on Waveland.
So, were you aware of the speed you were driving at?
I wasn't more than 5 over maybe. It was icy, so maybe at certain points I was more than 35 or maybe less.
However, you stated in your affidavit that your car doesn't have cruise control.
Yeah, so I've got to watch it kind of closely sometimes.
And knowing that you had to watch your speed, you still don't know what your exact speed was that night.
I probably wasn't more than 5 over or 5 under.
And how would you say the weather was that night?
It was kind of icy. Like we were more like closing towards the taper of the basketball season, so it's getting colder.
And knowing that the road was icy, you still could have been going, you said, 5 miles over the speed limit that night.
Yeah, 5 over, 5 under.
However, you didn't actually know your speed on an icy road that night, correct?
Yes.
And on the night of March 22nd, you attended a party, correct?
Yeah, Austin Crusher's house. He's got a really dope house, and we were just going there after the district championship game that we won against our arch rivals.
And did you know Dakota well before that night?
I think we were kind of chill, I guess. I mean, I got kind of a steady-going girlfriend at the time, so I don't know. She might have been mad about that when she texted me at the time. But, yeah, I'd say Dakota and I are on a pathway to friendship.
And that night you had asked Dakota to go with you to Denny's, correct?
Yeah, she was looking kind of queasy, so I was just doing what was in her best interest.
So would you say that you were concerned about her overall health and well-being?
Yeah, I just didn't want to see her puke or anything. Like, that's embarrassing for anyone.
And yet, when you told Dakota to buckle up her seatbelt, you didn't check to make sure that your friend You had just stated you were concerned for due to being possibly dizzy or ever that she was buckled and safe.
We're kind of acquaintances, I guess, but like, I mean, I wouldn't buckle her in because she's like almost 18, and that would be awkward. I feel like that's like kind of overgoing what I should be doing in the car.
However, you stated that she was dizzy and possibly unable to.
She looked a little bit queasy.
Did you check to make sure that all the passengers in your car were buckled and safe before you started driving?
I don't think that's my job.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miller.
Nice, Emily.
Rafa, that sounds so bad.